History doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. And right now, we're hearing a familiar melody that's played before, just 80 years ago. Legendary investor Ray Dalio, who built the world's largest hedge fund by studying patterns in history, has identified something remarkable. Empires rise and fall in predictable cycles, and these cycles last roughly 80 years. It's been exactly 80 years since the end of World War II, and according to this framework, both the United Kingdom and the United States are showing every symptom of nations in decline. This isn't speculation. It's pattern recognition. Let's explore why. To understand where we are, we need to understand the 5 major forces that drive these 80-year cycles. These forces have repeated throughout history. In Rome, in the Dutch Empire, in the British Empire, and now in our own time. Force 1, the money and debt cycle. When a nation borrows heavily, it gains spending power in the short term, but debt must be repaid. When debt grows faster than income, it squeezes out spending. People don't want to hold that nation's debt anymore. The UK has gone through this cycle repeatedly. So has the United States. Right now, both nations are facing serious debt problems. The UK government doesn't have enough money for what it needs to do. The US is in a similar position, with deficits growing and debt mounting. Force 2, internal conflict. When wealth gaps become extreme, societies fracture. People stop believing the system works for them. They stop trusting institutions. And when trust breaks down, internal wars begin, not always with weapons, but with political chaos. Both the UK and US are experiencing this now. There's a fight between left and right, driven by massive wealth and opportunity gaps. Democracy itself comes under pressure, because people stop believing the rules will serve them fairly. Force 3, geopolitical conflict. Throughout history, major wars create new world orders. The winners draw the borders and make the rules. That system holds until a rising power challenges the existing one. We're seeing this today. The last major war ended in 1945. That established an American-led world order. But now, China is rising. Alliances are forming on both sides. The international order that's held for 80 years is under strain. Force 4, acts of nature. Droughts, floods, and pandemics have killed more people throughout history than wars have. Recent pandemics, these aren't separate from the other forces. They interact with debt, internal conflict, and geopolitical tensions, making everything more volatile. Force 5, human inventiveness. Technology drives living standards forward, but here's the crucial question. Who wins the technology race? Because the winner of that race wins everything else: the economic war, the geopolitical war. Throughout history, technological superiority has determined which empires rise and which fall. Nuclear weapons won World War II. The question now is, who leads in artificial intelligence? These 5 forces don't work in isolation. They amplify each other. And when you look at the UK and US through this lens, the picture becomes clear. Let's start with the United Kingdom. According to this analysis, the UK faces all 5 forces working against it. It has high debt and ongoing deficits. It's experiencing significant internal social conflict. It's affected by the same geopolitical tensions impacting Europe, particularly the situation with Russia and Ukraine, which impacts defense spending when money is already scarce. And critically, the UK lacks the culture and capital markets that support innovation at the scale needed to compete globally. This year alone, roughly 16,000 millionaires are leaving the UK, more than almost any other major country. The UK has been in relative decline since World War II. The development of its capital markets, its ability to raise money for entrepreneurs, its technological innovation, all of these have weakened compared to the United States. Here's a telling comparison. If you're a 25-year-old entrepreneur with talent and a technology idea, where do you go? In the United States, even with unconventional credentials, if you have the talent, you can get the resources. There's a culture of entrepreneurship and a capital market structure that enables it. That same person in the UK faces an establishment culture. The resources aren't flowing at the same scale. The innovative companies that are reshaping the global economy, they're not coming from the UK. People go to places that are better for them. They leave places that are worse. This is fundamental. And right now the incentives are clear. So if the UK is declining, what about the United States? It's more innovative, has stronger capital markets, and remains the world's largest economy. But according to this framework, the US is also in a very risky position. The United States absolutely has a debt and money problem. The government is spending far more than it brings in, creating unsustainable deficits. It definitely has severe internal conflict. There's a battle between left and right, driven by wealth gaps so large they threaten social cohesion. People increasingly don't believe the system will work for them, and when people lose faith in the system, they stop following its rules. In the 1930s, 4 major democracies chose to become autocracies: Italy, Germany, Spain, and Japan. They did this because internal conflicts became so severe that people demanded a strong leader who would get control of things. We're seeing pressure for exactly this kind of solution today. The US is absolutely on one side of a great power conflict with China and its allies on the other. These sides are lining up clearly, and this matters because history shows that rising powers eventually challenge existing powers, and the existing world order typically deteriorates during these transitions. Here's what makes the US different. It's in the technology race. The United States and China are the only 2 countries really competing at the highest level of technological innovation. Europe isn't in this game at the scale needed, neither is the UK. About 1% of Americans, roughly 3 million people out of 330 million, are doing extraordinarily well. The top 10% around them are prosperous. These are the people in certain neighborhoods, working in certain industries, benefiting enormously from technological advancement. But 60% of Americans have below a 6th grade reading level. That population struggles with productivity and prosperity, and you cannot have a successful society without broad-based productivity and prosperity. So which America are we looking at? The one that's thriving or the one that's struggling? And more importantly, are we watching a war between these 2 Americas? So what happens next? Is the decline of the US and UK inevitable? Will China become the dominant power? The answer is, it depends. These cycles aren't predetermined. They're like a person's health. If you take care of yourself, eat well, exercise, don't smoke, you'll probably live longer than if you don't. Nations are the same. The actions taken now determine how this plays out. What's needed most is a strong political middle, not the extremes of left or right, but a center that's analytically strong and capable of making hard decisions, even when people don't want to hear them. A center that can unite people around productivity and common purpose. Some nations have faced these challenges and recovered. Others have collapsed. The difference comes down to whether they can build that strong middle, maintain trust in institutions, and keep people believing they're in it together. The technology war will be decisive. Whoever wins the AI race will likely win the economic war and the geopolitical war. There are 2 possible paths forward. One is evolutionary, like how the Soviet Union's decline happened. The worry of mutual destruction keeps everyone from direct war, and one system gradually proves superior over time. The other path is more direct and far more dangerous. We are 80 years from the last Great War. The symptoms of the cycle are clear. Both the UK and the United States face serious challenges across all 5 forces. But here's what matters most: how individuals respond to these realities. Understanding the cycle doesn't mean accepting fate. It means seeing clearly what's happening and making informed choices. Throughout history, people have moved from declining places to rising ones. They've built financial flexibility. They've gained knowledge about how things work. They've adapted. The cycle is real. The pattern is clear. But the future isn't written yet. It depends on whether enough people understand what's happening and choose to respond wisely. The question isn't whether the cycle exists. The question is, what will you do about it?